AM 1600 KIV, FM Rocket Talk.com. I'm Eddie Aragon, the Rocket Talk with me, Tego and Tracy Venturi, the Venturi Real Estate Group with Keller Williams Real Estate. Pick up phone, dial them today, 448-8888. That's 448-8888 or welcomehome.abq.com as we dip into the colder part of the year. Time about thinking of 2023, and this is the best time to listen to the show because we start rounding up stats for the end of the year as well. Show 423 here, or 422 here in the Kiva with Tego and Tracy. We missed them last week, but they're back again. And, you know, they really have a pulse on things, recently traveling to Zillow and going to the conference and understanding trends that are going to hit here in 2 years. They're ahead of the curve, and we're always glad to have them. Tego, Tracy, how are you this morning?
Doing awesome. Thank you.
Glad to be here. It's good. So you know,
amazing this morning.
So it's a beautiful weekend. You know, we had a little cooler this week, but beautiful weekend. And it's Halloween and the end of the month, right? October. Yep. Can you believe we're almost to November, Tego?
I know. It's just, you know, it's just
time flies.
Time flies. Those time flies, you know.
Yeah. So we have lots of great things we're talking about today. I don't know how we're going to fit it all in one show, but let's give a rundown.
Okay, let me do a quick here. So adjustable rate mortgages. Well, I just want to hit on that real quick because there's been more conversations about that. The city of Albuquerque confirmed something we've all known, that there's a shortage of housing units in Albuquerque. So we're going to talk about that. And then for Halloween, Tracy, we're going to talk about first-time home buyer fears and some of the things that people imagine that are going to be difficult about the home buying process, and you're going to hit on that. And then we really want to talk about this MFA, Mortgage Finance Authority, New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority Targeted Areas Program. It's an amazing program, and there is a short time window on this, and we'll tell you why here in a minute. But it's an amazing program to get people into homes at a very low interest rate.
Very low, right?
Yes.
Like the lowest it's been in a year.
Exactly.
So where do you want to start, Tego?
Let's start with, let's do the Halloween story, which is, it's scary to buy a home. Maybe
scary. Yes, it can be very scary.
For a first-time home buyer that just doesn't know, right?
Tego, it's beyond the first-time home buyer. I think every home buyer right now has fears. And it is scary. There's a lot of news out there. They've seen interest rates go up. They say that we're heading into a recession, or we're in a recession, and
housing bubble. Yeah.
And I know you'll have stats over the next few months about that and what we're seeing. But today we've got so many other great things to talk about. But when you think about the fears of buying a house and what we're hearing from people, you know, Gary Keller and Jay Papasan just put out a new book. And for those of you that are watching online, Your First Home, it's really great, all about your first home and what to expect and things. But there's fears about buying your first home in here, right at chapter 1, right?
Yeah.
And it goes right along with the Halloween theme. So I'm just going to read them. 1, I can't afford to buy a home now. 2, I should wait until the real estate market gets better. 3, I don't have money for the down payment. 4, I can't buy a home because my credit score isn't good. 5, I can't afford to buy my dream home. 6, I should wait to buy a home until I'm certain about my domestic future. And 7, I should pay off my student loans before buying a home. So all of those are valid fears, not just for a first-time home buyer, right? And, you know, we can go through one by one, but what's true is uncertainty is stressful, and it can be easy to expect the worst, right?
Well, let's just big picture here. I think people that listen to this radio station know that there's plenty of fear in the media everywhere, in everything, and that's because that's what sells, right? That's what gets clicks. That's what gets people, you know, worked up and you know, paying attention to whatever the person's trying to get you to pay attention into. And it's true in the housing world too. As soon as you start searching for homes or reading stories about real estate, all of a sudden you're going to get all these headlines that say, you know, the crash is coming, the bubble is about to burst, the, you know, mortgage rates are more than triple what they were, and blah, 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 right? And all of that stuff is to get clicks. The reality is there's always something going on, right? And so understanding where you are in your situation, because that's what really matters, right?
So really, Tego, the fact is you can find a great home in both the depressed and elevated market, right? So the best option, all these fears that most people, even experienced home buyers, can have, the best option is to get with your real estate professional. We'd be happy to sit down with you and kind of go through those fears. And
but wait, they're just going to sell me a home.
I can't sell someone a home if they don't want a home, Tego. But, you know, there are a number of fears around trying something new, and for people who are renting or living with others, you know, room sharing, whatever, finding out the benefits of moving forward, even though you have these fears, can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, information is power, right? And knowledge is power. And so understanding the pros and cons, obviously.
Right. The long-term factors in owning a house far outweigh the short-term outlook of what people might be hearing right now, right?
Yeah,
so once we've made a decision to purchase, the long-term benefits of equity buildup, value appreciation, tax benefits, all of those things weigh into why it's always a good time to be an owner if you're going to have a time window of how long you need to own. And, you know, one of the things that struck me, you know, our daughter bought a house in September.
Yep.
Which made us sad and happy because she moved out for real. She had come home during COVID, right? And that was awesome. But, you know, she bought and closed in September. She's got the higher interest rate, and we thought it was great option for her. She locked in a 30-year mortgage. And one of the things that's on here is, I can't afford to buy my dream home. And, you know, did our daughter buy her dream home?
No.
She didn't buy her dream home. It's not the house that at 24 years old she's going to live in for the next 30 years, but she locked in a house that could be a future great rental, or a house that over time will appreciate, and she'll have that extra equity, that forced savings. So when she wants to get a different home, which may or may not be her dream home then,
right?
She's still young, right? But she'll have that extra equity that's built up, and she's paying her own mortgage instead of having rental and paying someone else's and not having any value at the end.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
You know, just one example of why it's a great idea if you have fears about buying in this market, getting a time to sit down. We could do a consult, talk about the fears, talk about the pros and cons, and help you decide if it's a good time, because for not everybody, it's a great time to buy a house.
No, absolutely. And you know, if you're going to only be a year, if your time window is only a year, then it's probably not a good time. Yeah.
No, doesn't make sense to buy.
No.
The cost to buy plus reselling or whatever, unless you're going to hold it as a rental, in which case, buy.
One of the things on the list, Tracy, there was, I don't have enough for down payment, you know. And there's still, I'm surprised, a myth out there that you need 20% to buy a home for first-time home buyers.
I heard a national news story this week, and they were talking about how buyers need 20% down to buy a house. Okay, I was watching the Today Show, and they said that in their news story, and I was just like, I can't believe that this reporter is saying that as a part of...
Wait. A national news source said something, a matter of fact, that wasn't true?
It was not that it wasn't true. It was just so... you know, short-sighted, you know.
Yeah. Well, those people that run the FHA program, the national FHA program, which has just been an amazing program for years and years and years, you know, 3.5% down program, they're probably cringing. Going,
oh, yeah.
Hello, what about us over here, you know, that have been running this amazing program for years?
So just to kind of wrap that up, right? A VA borrower, somebody who's been in the military service and has the option to use a VA loan, which great. Zero down, you know, there's usually some closing costs, but zero down.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of money just to close it. And, you know, in this market, we may be able to get sellers to help contribute towards that little bit of money to close it. So,
and that's a really good point. You know, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, even, it was very strong sellers market. And so you have, you know, multiple offers. And if there was anything strange on the buyer, you know, financing wise, it could have been a red flag. And so now buyers are in a much better position to negotiate some of those terms and do programs and down payment assistance programs, for example, or seller helping out with the buyer on some closing costs as well.
Right. So just to finalize those few different loan programs.
Yeah.
So a VA is basically zero down.
Right.
FHA 3.5%
Mm-hmm.
of the value of the property for a down payment plus some closing costs. There is the New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority down payment assistance program, and that program has just gotten much better. We talked about it a couple weeks ago on this show.
Yep.
Great benefit, great interest rates. It's a great program. So basically, they help you by providing the down payment, and
then we have
that can be an FHA or a conventional loan.
Correct.
And then there's conventional, which some conventional loans are 3% down, some are 5% down, up to 20% down or more.
There might be some mortgage lenders out there going, but we have this and we have that. And that's the thing I think I just want to say is there's a lot of programs out there, especially right now with the mortgage situation. So
totally. Even bridge loans, so you don't have to sell to buy if that's the case on a lot of different things. So working with a local lender is so important because when you get online sometimes with an out of area, they don't know about the down payment assistance program or some of the other local programs that exist.
Well, and they're not just local programs. So a lot of different, there's a lot of different things out there right now. So let's kind of just segue into that real quick, which is adjustable rate mortgages, since we're kind of on that. So, the elephant in the room in the housing market lately has been mortgage rates, right? We went from 3% or so at the beginning of the year, 3.25%. Last week I saw some stuff, 7.5%.
It's pulled back a little bit. Yeah.
Just this week a little bit. Last week it ran up a lot. And actually that kind of tells the story of the mortgage market right now. It's very volatile. And I don't want to get in weeds on this, but there's just a lot of volatility in the mortgage-backed security markets. Not that there's a problem. It's just that they're pricing in unknowns, right? And that's what happens. And so anyway, so 7.5% is what we're seeing with mortgages right now. And so what's happened is adjustable rate mortgages have kind of come back, if you will. Back last year when we had 3% mortgages, well, why would you need an adjustable rate mortgage to go from 3 to 2 point whatever, right? 8.75, right? So what's happened is we've got these adjustable rate mortgages, and what we're hearing is people are going, oh no, here we go again. Here's 2005 all over again with all these bad loans, these subprime loans. And I just want to tell everybody that's not what these are right now. They're very different than the type of adjustable rate mortgages that we had back then. They're much different underwriting standards, and the what we called liar loans, those are gone, right?
So what we're seeing most common right now is rate buy downs for a year or two. So the beginning of your ownership, maybe your interest rates are lower and they gradually go up over 2 years. And a lot of people are finding that really helpful, just to get a little better rate right now and know that it'll go up. But if rates go down again, they can refinance.
The big difference between the adjustable rate mortgages today and the adjustable rate mortgages back in 04, 05 is you have to qualify for the higher payment. Back then, you only had to qualify for that initial teaser rate, and that's not happening again. So I just want to let people know it's a different situation, right? There's a lot of protections built in the system after what we went through in 08, 09, right?
So let's talk about the city of Albuquerque confirming there's a housing shortage.
Wow, there's a housing shortage. I wouldn't have known.
Short units, right?
Yeah, so the city, the mayor, Mayor Keller, had a story. It's been kind of floating around here for a week or so, talking about these initiatives that they're working on to get more housing units. And when they're talking about housing units, they're talking about, apartments, condos, single-family homes, any type of housing unit. They're trying to fill this gap. And what they're estimating, the city officials say that the city of Albuquerque, just the city, this isn't the entire metro, they're saying we're anywhere from 13,000 to 30,000 housing units short in the Albuquerque area. Wow. And all of us in the real estate business have known this for years. we've known it, right? We know that we haven't been building enough. We know that it's been very difficult for projects to move forward, and I'm the way they're addressing it is great, and they're looking to revamp some commercial spaces and revamp some mobile what do you call it, motels and some other stuff for housing units, and that's great. But we just need to build. We just need to build, baby, build, right? I mean, we just and when I talk to home builders out there, and that's who I deal with mainly, home builders, is the process to get a project going and get something built in multifamily as well is broken. And I think the city really needs to look at that. And the mayor did address that when he was talking about it, that yes, we need to relook at all this zoning and the way things are done to get more housing units going. And it's a challenge.
I
for
saw
sure.
something this week about Rio Rancho, and they've got some plans for some affordable housing. So we'll have to look into that and talk about that next week. Yeah,
Mayor Hull in Rio Rancho is also very aware of the situation. They're doing what they can. They've got a task force working on,
they do.
Housing affordability, and I like to say housing affordability versus affordable housing, because as soon as you say affordable housing, everybody's going to say, no, I don't want that. I don't want it near me. No, that's it's different.
That's exactly what I saw.
Yeah.
People already complaining they want it, but they don't want it near them.
Yeah.
It was going to be, the story was that they've earmarked some land at 528 and Corrales Road, kind of that intersection, somewhere right in there.
Got it.
And the story was about the not in my backyards, which you call the NIMBYs.
The NIMBYs. Yeah. I mean, it's that's a very common term out there now. There's also the YIMBYs, which is yes in my backyard. So there's the not in my backyard movements, which are, we don't want anything, no development near me. And I get that. I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I mean, everybody has a say. But then there's the YIMBY movement, which is yes in my backyard, which are the people that say, no, we need to build, we need to push, we need to do more and have more housing. So it's an interesting conversation. So speaking of housing affordability, I want to talk about this amazing program that the Mortgage Finance Authority here in New Mexico has for people that are looking to buy a home.
So this is all about targeted areas to purchase a home. They've identified certain portions of the city, the metro area, where they will provide some incentive for people to buy in that neighborhood.
Correct.
In that part of the city.
So HUD...
Different counties all over the state have been identified. So.
So HUD, Housing and Urban Development.
So you actually took their codes and put it on a map.
Yep.
You and Neil, who works with us, put it all on a map so that visually you can see it. That's on our website, welcomehomeabq.com. The homes for sale in the NMMFA targeted areas in Metro Albuquerque. Is that in the communities?
That's under. If you go to our website, under search, it just says MFA targeted areas. So Mortgage Finance Authority targeted areas. There's right now, as we speak, 54 homes that are in those areas that look
in our metro area.
In our metro area. So this goes all the way from Albuquerque, Bernalillo County, a lot in Bernalillo County, a few in Valencia County. There's an area, the Moriarty area in Torrance County as well. There's a few areas. So, you'll understand these are areas that have a low median income area.
They are, but they tend to be older neighborhoods.
Right.
And they want to regenerate them.
Right.
Reinvigorate and get people to buy there that probably will update a house or, make it more affordable place for them to live and make it better in the long run. So, with the map you put on our website,
Mhm.
we've only done the metro area so far, right? I don't know that we're going to do the whole state, but I mean, Chavez County, Eddy County,
Oh yeah,
all of the counties have this. But on our map, we've taken the time to do the metro area so you can zoom in on it and really see what neighborhoods and what houses qualify. But tell us about the loan program and how this works.
so the kicker on this program is, first off, it's a low down payment program of some sort. Those details vary, but it could be as little as, let's say, $500 out of pocket. Probably not. It's probably going to be more than that, just depending. But the big deal about this is they will match the best mortgage rate that they had in the past 12 months. And that's why there's a time window on this, because right now if you go back a year, we're still in that
Just 3.25, I think, for MFA.
3.5, probably 3.5, somewhere in there. Mortgage rates versus 7.5 that
Right now.
we're seeing right now.
It's a rolling 12-month period.
Correct.
So every month that passes, we'll start catching up with
Correct.
when the interest rates started going up. So if you
which was January. So
Right.
there's a short window here where people can really take advantage of this program and get a low mortgage rate that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else right now.
Right. I know someone that locked in 3.25 last week
Okay.
using this program. So there are income limits for 1 to 2 person households. Generally in the Albuquerque area, the max amount you can make a year is around $90,000
Which is higher
than the regular
than the
MFA.
regular program. Yeah,
Right.
that's the other thing.
And 3 or more person household, 105,700. And then the purchase limits, but these houses all fall within that. So if you're thinking of buying in one of these areas, or you know somebody who's in the market to buy, and that under 4% interest rate right now would help them move forward, have them give us a call right away. The longer we wait, the more that interest rate will be. So let's get them locked into a really low interest rate and help them start building wealth through home ownership.
And let me just circle back on that. Again, this is the Mortgage Finance Authority of New Mexico Targeted Areas Program. We have a home search on our website at welcomehomeabq.com. You go to the search and it'll show all the homes that appear to be, fitting for that program. Where no guarantees, there's always could be condition issues or something, but that gives you a chance to get in. It's a really good program, and if you have any questions about it, call us. We're the Venturi Group at Keller Williams Realty, and we're at 505-448-8888. Okay.
That's such an exciting program. It's hard not to just keep talking about it, because
I know.
there are people who should be buying a house, we got to get it done. Help them get in on these low rates. So is there a real estate slowdown, Tego, and what does that really mean?
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot. Going back to news, is real estate market is slowing, housing market slowing down. Hearing that a lot lately.
And you know what people equate with that when they hear that?
Right.
They say, oh, prices are falling.
Correct. Exactly. And so let's separate these things here. The housing market is slowing down, has slowed down. The number of homes sold is down about 20% from same time last year in the Albuquerque area, anywhere from 20 to 25%.
And last year was up
well, I know. I mean, last year was a record, right? So that's the number of actually homes exchanging, right? That's the units, not pricing.
Prices.
There has been some price
flattening. Leveling.
Let me talk big picture here first off, because what happens is you get something like Case-Shiller, which is the National Home Price Index, right? Everybody sees that, and so you get these headline numbers that say, oh, home prices have. What happened last week is the Case-Shiller came out, and the rate of appreciation has declined. But it got reported as home prices are declining. It's like, no. The rate of appreciation is declining nationally. Now, there are definitely some markets around the country that what they're called the frothy markets, where home prices have seen some decline since earlier in the year. right? But we're not one of them. There's a very few of them.
I'm sorry, I'm still on frothy markets. It made me think of like a nice cappuccino.
There you go.
Nice hot cup of
Frothy,
joe,
frothy.
frothy markets. So sorry, back to you. So
the point is, yes,
price appreciation is slowing.
Everybody agrees that the number of homes selling in 2022 is going to be less than 2021, and it sure looks like 2023 there's going to be less homes selling, actual number of homes and properties exchanging. No doubt about it. And to be fair, or not fair, or unfair, maybe it's unfair, that's what the Federal Reserve wanted. They're trying to slow down the entire economy, and unfortunately, housing is really taking the hit.
Well, they're targeting housing.
Well, they're targeting,
specifically they're talking housing and needs.
Yeah. I mean, they're targeting everything, but housing
is a huge chunk of it.
Is such a driver of our overall economy that it's definitely taken a hit. And it's unfortunate because the thing that's really taken a hit are the people that want to get into home ownership. Maybe you've been saving up for a while, they're finally ready, and all of a sudden they went from 3.5% mortgages to 7.5% mortgages, and they're like going, well, heck, that's not going to work for me.
And it would,
but it does work for a lot of people.
It does work for a lot of people. So, like we started out with talking about fears, we need to go deeper and really talk to people about their real goals. So, let's go back to this slowdown. So, when you say we're down 20% in actual numbers of sales, and they're saying that prices aren't appreciating at the same rate. So let's put that in real.
That's nationally.
Right. Real numbers. If we go back to the beginning of the year to now, home values in our market are still up.
Year over year. Okay, let me give you a sneak peek. Okay. If we look at, it's end of October. I don't have the final numbers yet, but October 2022, home prices are up anywhere from 13 to 17% versus October last year. So the year-over-year price increases continue at a double-digit pace. However, if we go back to May of this year to today, home prices have pretty much stayed even.
There we go. That's what I've been waiting for you to tell us.
Yeah. So
that was the important soundbite when you hear people around you at Halloween parties or over this weekend hanging out with neighbors, trick-or-treating and things, and they're talking about housing, which people always seem to. Everywhere we go, I hear people talking around me and how about housing.
It's because we're tuned into it.
Yeah, we hear it. The truth is home prices have stopped appreciating as of about May, June. But they've leveled out since then, and we haven't seen that drop. But seasonally, Tego, every winter, we do have a little pullback in prices. So where we end the year this year as a percentage up over last year will still be considerably up, but maybe not as high up as we were in June.
Yeah, and at this point, we really won't be able to judge, if we're going to have any substantial pullback in prices in Albuquerque probably until the spring. To be honest with you, because we're gonna see less activity this time of year. We're gonna see people that are, that need to sell, reducing price. We've seen about 40% of the homes that are on the market in Albuquerque have a price reduction just last week of all the homes that are on the market, which sounds high, but actually that's pretty normal if you go back to 2019 and before. Now, not compared to 2020 and 2021 because they were kind of just odd markets. You can't compare anything to 2021. But anyway, so home prices appear to have peaked this year. That's kind of the headline here. Home prices peaked in May. They've been flat ever since. We haven't really seen any pullback, if you will.
And honestly, all our listeners probably know this because we talk stats all the time, and they probably follow you on Twitter. But it's normal. We peak late spring here, and then we kind of have a cycle. And for those of you that get on and look at Tego's charts, you know that. So there we go. There's all the information you needed for today.
you build a little real estate expertise. You get it every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. to kick off the rest of the day's programming. Tego and Tracy have been on here for more than 8.5 years in the Kiva. We appreciate them. They support the listening that supports them as well. So I love the fear selling that everybody else is doing, but Tego and Tracy step up to the plate and they let you know exactly what's going on. And folks, there's ebbs and flows, there's in, there's out, there's up and down, but you always need a home. That's why you're going to call Tego and Tracy 505-448-8888. 8888 or welcomehomeabq.com. That's welcomehomeabq.com. Back next week, same time.